Hello, Internet. Good to see you. It's once again me, Lawrence, the office drone, joined here by my operator, who's off screen. Anyways, I hope everyone's been having a great weekend. I know I have. It's great to be out of the office. So today I'm going to come to you with a recommendation for all you office workers and anyone who just wants something great to listen to while working. Something to make the days in the cubicle less dreary, that sort of thing. As you saw from the title, our focus for today will be the radio detective show, yours truly, Johnny Dollar. The man with the epithet, or sobriquet, one of those words, I don't know. The man with the action-packed expense account. Sounds fun, I know. And we'll just wait a little bit before starting. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hope the week wasn't too terrible. Okay, let's begin. So, this is a radio detective show, and it follows Johnny Dollar, neat name, I know, and he's an insurance investigator. So, he's a bit interesting in what he can do. He's not a cop, but he's actually able to get official help. He's able to ask banks for bank information on people he's investigating. Like he can't get exact details, but he's able to find out if like they're financially stable or they're in deep debt, that sort of thing. He's also able to get help from police and cops, and he has an ID badge sort of thing. So they do help him out a little. I mean, they let him sit in on interrogations and things along those lines. And, well, usually, sometimes the police don't like him. But that's part of the fun of the episodes. And he has an expense account. We'll get back to that later, but that's sort of important. So that's sort of what he is for as an insurance investigator. That's sort of what he can do. So the episodes go something along like this. Johnny Dollar's at home. Some insurance bigwig at a company calls him, tells him to look into something. Like figuring out if someone died, whether or not they did die. Those are a few interesting episodes. Protecting objects rather, before they get stolen, or finding it once it has been stolen. Stuff along those lines. There's also some even weirder episodes where someone can buy weird insurance on like animals or other policies and policies like that require investigation. So the story then follows Johnny as he investigates these things, and the story is told through his expense account. Everything he purchases or bills or rents throughout the investigation, like renting a rental car, making phone calls with a phone booth. Man, were those the days? Anything like that. Transportation, hotels, foods, occasionally bribes for information. He's also known to make some questionable bills to this account, which is part of the fun of the series. For those of you working in an actual job where you have an expense account, do not do this. This will get you fired. Anyways, so yeah, the pros of the show and why it's probably good to listen to is that the variety of cases covered is great. Because our protagonist is an insurance investigator, the writers were never limited on what kind of cases Johnny could investigate. One episode he's investigating a murder, another is an arson, and they're also taking place in a wide range of different. Are you okay over there? Stop making noise. I'm trying to do my thing here. Sorry, my operator's being loud. I had to fire him, but I can't live without him. Anyways, he goes to a large range of areas too. So one episode he could be investigating an arson in a factory in California. The next, he's in Montana trying to determine what caused the death of a policyholder. It's quite interesting. This actually ensured that the show never got stale. The clear indication of this, it was on for a decade, went through multiple actors playing Johnny, and it's also regarded as one of the best detective shows of this era. Which leads us into the next benefit and pro of the show: large number of episodes. I mean, it was on for a decade, and if yeah, there's a lot of episodes. Because of this, you will never have to worry about finishing the series very quickly and finding another thing to listen to while at work. Some things to keep note of. These are not necessarily pros or cons. It's just something you should know. The way the episodes are written, it's not like you're going to Sherlock the case and figure out what's happening before Johnny does. The show is more legwork focused. You're learning things as Johnny is, and it's more focused on that, him trying to find things out, and you will be finding them out with him. There are ads in most of these episodes, not all of them, but some of them. The ads aren't that bad though. Like they're things for like cars, chewing gum, and for a while I remember they were playing ads that were against drug and driving. So yeah, these ads aren't that bad, or won't get too annoying, so you don't have to worry about having to pause or fast forward or mute this while you're at work. You can just listen through it. It's not terrible. Another thing, each actor that played Johnny brought their own style to the character, and the writers changed the character slightly for each actor that was playing him. So he might be older, younger, and stuff like that, or certain aspects of his personality will be emphasized. Um, Secondary characters that are, and reoccurring characters would appear for one actor but not another. I know that during the Bob Bailey years, I really liked this reformed arsonist that they had, although they kept beating him up. I liked him, and I really didn't like that they kept beating him up. Some of the cons of the show. Okay. The technology is quite old. You may have some hard time understanding some of the things and concepts used if you're of a certain vintage. But it's not that bad, and I'm pretty sure most people can keep up with it. But it should be understood that that's a potential issue if you don't understand these things. Now, let's move on to the part that I am interested in examining. Could it be made today? Radio? Oh, yes. Easy to impossible to make today. Easy to bring to modern era, there would be no issues in modernizing this show. You may have to change a couple of things, new technology. The prices of things will certainly have changed since the 50s and 60s. But now let's move on to television, where I think will be kind of an interesting lens to examine this. Making the show for television would be interesting. They attempted it once, but it was a bit of a flop, and I can understand why. It's hard to do the varied locations without like a massive set back in those days. Um, like part of the charm of the show is the varied locations, and when you're envisioning this yourself, the set design and all of that's being done by your imagination on the cheap. I mean, today you could probably do things with green screens. I mean, green screen technology has allowed a lot of things to happen, and I think this show could be made again with a lot of green screen technology. You probably couldn't do many of the boating stuff and the shipping stuff, that sort of thing. It's quite interesting that, but yeah, I think it could be done today. So yeah, that's sort of my little discussion on yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Um, I think it was a great show, worth listening to. It affected lot of ways detective shows were made after that. Um, there was another show after that called Frank Race that tried to capitalize on that with a more globe-trotting insurance investigator who went to different cities and countries and stuff like that. Johnny Dollar did a little bit of that because he's an insurance investigator. He doesn't have that sort of jurisdictional issue. He could go to other locations like Britain mainly because many of the insurance companies seem to have like offices in both America and Britain. It was hello? Okay, we are back. That's interesting. Okay, once again, I am frozen. Why? You enjoyed that show, and everyone have a great weekend. We hope that we might be on doing something on Monday. I don't know what that will be, but I am hopeful. Anyways, hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend.